So Jimmy Kimmel is coming back, according to Disney and other companies. Let's just be very clear. It was wrong and unconstitutional and anti-democratic for the President of the United States and his FCC chairman to go over to companies and literally say, we have the ability to order you to hire and fire people. We want you to do so. And if you don't do that, you're going to lose your broadcast license. In other words, no freedom of speech. That if you wish to operate within the United States, you do as we tell you. Your news, your commentaries must match that of the White House. That would then be later echoed as actual doctrine that is going on at the Pentagon, where literally reports have to be pre-screened through the Pentagon if you're going to report in the Pentagon. Free speech is under attack. There is no question about that. And so when it comes to the issue of Disney and continuing to do business with Disney, there are two schools of thought that you probably could have. Now, you can follow either one of these. I will tell you what is my interpretation of the two, and then give you what I believe I'm going to end up doing. So the first one of the two schools of thought is don't return. Because they violated it, there's no guarantee they're not going to do it in the future. You need to prove to us that you're never going to do that. And since you did it, tough noogie, we're gone. Second school of thought. And that is that, hey, you did the right thing, I'm coming back. You, Mr. Corporation, need to be treated like a disobedient dog. And you get my reward, my little reward, which is my subscription, my business, my desire to treat you nicely, so long as you are following the Constitution. You follow the Constitution, you get my treat of my dollars. You don't follow the Constitution, you don't get my treat, my dollars. So these are two basic philosophies. And each one has their own positive and negative, right? My personal position is I think it's better to treat media companies like they are dogs. And they get my treat when they stay within the confines of the Constitution. If they step outside of that and they start showing that they don't respect the Constitution, they stop getting my treat. And by me giving them the treat, it helps them know that I can always take that away. The problem that I have, like with the other philosophy of you violated it, you're never getting my business. My problem with that is simple. You no longer have the carrot. You've taken your carrot away. You've taken your ability to say, I can take that back. I can just, you've done the right thing, here's the reward. I will take it back if you screw up again. If it's already gone, then in all honesty, they don't have to listen to you because you're not doing anything for them. Now, granted, people will disagree with me on that, and that's totally fine. Please actually do. I believe that we should be having these types of discussions as Americans on both sides of the aisle. That when companies and organizations step outside of the Constitution, what should we do as American citizens? Since normally at times the Constitution, when companies and organizations step outside of the Constitution, law enforcement, that sort of thing, what do you do? How should we return to the Constitution? I believe that's a very important question for us to debate on both sides. Because sometimes there are some of these issues are have nothing to do with right or left. It's the freaking Constitution. And we would really like, as Americans, that every company, every organization, and the government itself stays well inside of the Constitution. And how should we respond as people when organizations step outside of that of the Constitution? What is proper methods of response? Because if, like, the government is refusing to step up and do its job and make certain that the Constitution is followed and people are staying inside of the Constitution, what becomes our responsibility? That's a good debate to have. Because currently the only debate that goes if the government steps outside of the Constitution are people who believe in Second Amendment remedies, which to me is violence. Which is why people who perhaps believe in Second Amendment issues might be more violent than those who don't, because those people believe that the Second Amendment at times requires violence. This doesn't mean right or left. It's just those people who subscribe that the purpose of the Second Amendment is to resist tyranny, to force the government back into alignment with the Constitution. Could there be a better way? Could there be a better way that is nonviolent, that we all can do, right, left, and center, to make certain that the Constitution is followed, and perhaps even a more open and direct conversations on issues of, is blank issue that you believe needs to be addressed, that we should address this, and how should we address it as common, ordinary people? So that's the question. The question is, if organizations and companies and agencies step outside of the Constitution, how should we respond? And is boycotts or appropriate? And if the company steps back into alignment, should you do business with that company afterward, or should you demand a higher standard than just simply that coming back? So let's have that discussion. Let's have that debate. Thank you. Like, share, subscribe.